Welcome to Entertainment, the channel with the most misleading name in all of YouTube. On today's video, we'll be looking at pro wrestling matches that did not go to plan at all. And in case you don't know, pro wrestling is scripted and the winner has already been decided from the start, all in an effort to entertain the masses with an incredible storyline. But this video will show some matches where one or both of the participants did not like the pre-decided outcome and decided to not play along, which led the fight to become real, with real shots being traded back and forth. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below. And also make sure to turn on those notifications so you know when I upload more videos. Let's get started. We start with one of the most famous occasions when the great Antonio was hired to go to Japan and face off against the legend that is Antonio Inoki in 1977. Inoki was trying to make his new pro wrestling promotion take off, and he thought this would be a great draw, which it was, but the great Antonio had a history of not playing along.
猪木選手の最大のアントニオに対する武器は何だと、ソニーに聞いたところ、パンチはとにかく通じないと、そういうふうに言ってましたね。そうですね、まともにね、打ったんではこの
Wrestlers always work from the left side, but the great Antonio was making Inoki work from the right side, which angered him immensely, but he was still trying to make the match work out. Then he went for a dropkick that the great Antonio completely did not sell, which was the beginning of the end.
とにかく今でも怪力は健在ですからね。
力だけでいってもいいですね。
そうですね。室蘭でバスを2台ね、軽々と引っ張った時にはびっくりしましたね。
そうですね。
Inoki then took some heavy hammer fist shots right to the back of his neck. And that's when he understandably lost it and started going off on the great Antonio with open-handed face hits that basically put the great Antonio in his place.
パンチはあまり威力がありません。
Inoki did not stop with these hits and just started going ham on him, taking him down to the ground and just kicking the ever-living shit out of him until the fight was finally called.
こういったパンチと非常に鈍い音がしますね。
そうですね。猪木エキサイトしましたね。
両足を取ります。顔面を切りました。この顔面への回し蹴りどうですか？
これは効きますよ。
顔がばっかりになりました。
There's certain rules that must be followed in wrestling, or serious injuries can happen. The great Antonio repeatedly failed to follow these rules in this match and in others. And even though he was taught a lesson multiple times, he never really took it to heart. He was forced to retire after this match. In 2004, during an episode of SmackDown on WWE, the gold medal winning Kurt Angle was supposed to be teaching a lesson to multiple new contestants of the Tough Enough reality show. And everything was going to plan during the first match against Chris Rocky.
I will be right beside you in that locker room, and you will never be putting me in my place again.
I guess going to plan may be a little over the top, because Kurt Angle was going a little too hard, and he even broke some of his ribs. Next up was Daniel Pruder, who upon seeing this destruction of his fellow competitor, he decided to resist just a little bit.
Daniel Pruder, 23-year-old. I'm going to predict it's a matter of time for Kurt Angle to twist his coach out.
Okay, so Pruder did way more than resist. He fought back and actually beat Angle in everyone's eyes, except the referees, who had to step in and count Pruder out, who ended up on his back while having Angle in a Kimura, legitimately trying to snap his arm off per his own admission. Pruder went on to win the Tough Enough series, but never made it in the WWE. And it was probably because he pulled a stunt on one of the stars of the WWE at the time. You could see how hard and then get saved by the referee so he could keep his reputation alive. And of course, the WWE storyline. This is probably the most brutal wrestling match that got way too real. This was the match between Aki Yasukawa, who had the Wonder of Stardom title and was due to face off against Yoshiko, who had the top title in the promotion as the World of Stardom title holder. Yasukawa was slated to win this fight and finally make her dreams of becoming the top dog a reality, but Yoshiko was not ready to let go. Keep in mind that I am only showing you some of the least brutal parts, and if you want to see the whole thing, go look it up, but I would advise against it. It is still debated as to why Yoshiko was so angry, but many said that she was jealous of Yasukawa's popularity even though she had been there since the beginning. Yasukawa started this match with a stiff shot, but it was still within the realm of pro wrestling, and Yoshiko responded with much stiffer shots until she just went crazy. This type of fight went on for quite a while until the referee broke it up and allowed Yasukawa to get some treatment on her badly beaten face. When they started again, and trust me, I don't know why they started again, but apparently Yasukawa was no quitter, so she kept getting up. They traded hard shots a couple more times until the refs split them up again. Then finally they started to somewhat have a pro wrestling match, but it was incredibly stiff, with Yoshiko doing all the moves at full power, still punishing poor Yasukawa. Eventually, Yoshiko couldn't take any more of this somewhat played out routine and just went for the finishing touches, and the fight was finally stopped. The lady jumping in and trying to pull Yoshiko's hair out was Yasukawa's trainer, who was the one who threw in the towel to stop the fight, although we can all agree that she took way too long. Yasukawa was basically forced to retire because of the injuries she received in this fight, even though she did try to make a comeback. She received a broken cheekbone, a broken nose, and a fractured orbital socket. Yoshiko, on the other hand, was fired, but she was hired on other wrestling promotions, and rumor has it that the owner of this promotion was the one who kept giving her work. What a jackass. This is another match that happened in Japan in 1999 when Dirt Bike Kid was flown to Japan to go head-to-head with the great Sasuke. He was invited to participate with Michinoku Pro Wrestling, who was owned by the great Sasuke himself, so he was fighting the boss. The part that the Dirt Bike Kid objected to the most was the fact that he was fighting in a masked tournament and he wasn't a masked fighter, so he decided to take the mask off before the match.
いやもう全くの未知数なんですよね。ただ彼の方が随分私を付け狙っていたみたいで、ただそれすらも私の方は知らなかったっていうぐらいなんですが。
This was probably the beginning of the end, since you are refusing to fight by the agreed terms in front of the boss, who probably came up with the rules. He was also supposed to start the match fast, beating up Sasuke, but then he was supposed to lose rather quickly by submission. But Dirt Bike Kid decided to take the domination off the charts and started doing a ton of over-the-top moves, with a total of 8 high spots before Sasuke had enough.
上がってきますね。おお、トゲ。
答え巻いてるんですよね。
ちょっとそれが痛々しいんですが。
まあただそれ以外はもう絶好調ですから。
そうですか。
はい。
まあ不死身のサスケ社長ですからね、頭に傷を負ってもっとなんとなく雰囲気この丸坊主頭、そして from UK ということからもしてもキッドという名。
Sasuke just started kicking the ever-living crap out of the kid. He landed incredibly hard shots, and a couple of them landed on the kid's torso, where he was nursing an injury, and this is the hit that basically ended the fight, since Dirt Bike Kid said that he was unable to continue after this, and wanted Sasuke to end the fight, as was planned. But Sasuke wanted to punish him for his insolence, and landed a ton more shots on his body and face.
ミドルキック、そしてソバット、そしてもう一発いきます。もう一回浮き上げてきました。この辺はもう矢継ぎ早に飛ばしていきます。もう一回スバット。
Some believe that Sasuke took the kid just laying there as not selling his moves, but he physically couldn't. He went for a headlock and apparently was close to breaking the kid's neck, per an interview after the match. Sasuke wanted more, but the kid was done and just wanted to end the fight. In 1986, Coco Ware, for reasons I was unable to find, just completely destroyed the Patriot. Like seriously, I didn't see anything bad in the start to this match. Maybe they just had some issues backstage or something. But regardless, Coco lost his damn mind.
Showtime, we're off and running with the masked Patriot. First look at him.
Just look at that. What the hell did the Patriot do? He just pushed you to the corner and landed a pretty standard hit. But Coco was stiff as hell. Then this is the masterpiece to the whole thing.
Going against Coco Ware. And Coco kind of going at it. Woo! Boy, he is pounding and swinging.
And it's a masterpiece because I'm pretty sure this is where the Patriot realized that this was no ordinary match, and that he was about to be embarrassed. Luckily though, he was wearing a mask. After this clothesline, I'm pretty sure that the Patriot might have been knocked out or really hurt, and Coco might have taken this as him not selling his stiff-ass hits, so he further punished him. Then look at this part.
Coco Ware, I guess, as fired up and going as we have ever seen him. With the Patriot.
Coco pretty much lifted the Patriot with his own strength right here. I don't really see the Patriot helping him at all, and then almost drops him straight on his head, which could have paralyzed him. Luckily, the match was over in less than a minute.
Drives him down into the mat. And that's going to be it. 1, 2, 3.
Jealousy plays a big part in many of these cases, but I think that the thing that pisses off wrestlers the most is not selling their moves or the storyline. Although some of these guys were so hurt that they couldn't sell the moves anymore, but the other guys didn't realize this fact, or they were so angry that they chose to use this as fuel to lay into their opponent and absolutely crush them in the process. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.